Welcome to the ultimate guide to understanding coffee. Whether you're a casual drinker or someone who's just beginning to explore the rich world of espresso-based beverages, this video is going to walk you through every major type of coffee you need to know about. We'll explore their origins, how they're made, and most importantly, the exact milk ratios that define each drink. And if you're passionate about coffee and want to learn more tips and brewing techniques, please subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Let's start with the foundation of almost every specialty coffee drink: espresso. Espresso is a concentrated form of coffee made by forcing hot water through finely ground coffee beans under high pressure. It originated in Italy in the early 1900s, when engineers were looking for a faster way to brew coffee. The word espresso actually means pressed out in Italian. A single shot of espresso is typically 1 ounce of liquid, and it contains roughly 30 milliliters of that rich, dark brew. The key to espresso is the pressure, usually 9 bars of pressure, which forces the water through the grounds in about 20 to 30 seconds. This creates that signature layer of crema on top, which is the golden brown foam that indicates a well-made shot. Now that we understand espresso, let's talk about the latte, one of the most popular coffee drinks in the world. A latte is made with 1 shot of espresso and steamed milk, with a small amount of milk foam on top. The ratio is typically 1 part espresso to 3 or 4 parts steamed milk, making it a much milder drink than espresso alone. Lattes originated in Italy and became popularized in the United States and other English-speaking countries. The name latte comes from the Italian word for milk, caffè e latte, which literally means coffee and milk. What makes a latte different from other milk-based coffees is the higher proportion of steamed milk, which creates a creamy, smooth texture that appeals to many people. Let's move on to the cappuccino, a drink that's often confused with the latte, but is actually quite different. A cappuccino uses 1 shot of espresso, 1 part steamed milk, and 1 part milk foam, so the ratio is 1 to 1 to 1. This creates a much stronger coffee flavor than a latte because there's less steamed milk overall. Cappuccinos are believed to have originated in Austria, though they became iconic in Italy. The name comes from the Capuchin friars, whose brown robes supposedly resembled the color of the drink. In Italy, cappuccinos are traditionally enjoyed in the morning, often paired with a pastry. Next up is the macchiato, which is often misunderstood. A macchiato is actually a shot of espresso with just a small amount of steamed milk on top. The ratio is 1 shot of espresso to approximately 1/2 ounce of milk. The word macchiato means marked or stained in Italian, referring to the espresso being marked with a tiny amount of milk. There's also a variant called the long macchiato, which is an espresso shot with a larger amount of milk, though this is more common in Australia and other countries. The traditional macchiato is very strong and concentrated, designed for someone who wants the full espresso experience with just a touch of milk. Now let's discuss the cortado, a drink that sits right in the middle between espresso and milk-based drinks. A cortado consists of 1 shot of espresso mixed with an equal amount of steamed milk, creating a 1-to-1 ratio. The word cortado comes from the Spanish verb cortar, which means to cut, because the milk cuts the strength of the espresso. Cortados are particularly popular in Spain and South America, and they're becoming increasingly popular in specialty coffee shops around the world. The beauty of a cortado is that it balances the intensity of espresso with the smoothness of milk without becoming too creamy like a latte. Let's talk about the flat white, a drink that sparked considerable debate about its true origins. A flat white is made with 1 or 2 shots of espresso and steamed milk, with a thin layer of velvety microfoam on top. The ratio is typically 1 to 3, similar to a latte, but the key difference is the microfoam. Microfoam is created by stretching the milk during steaming, incorporating tiny air bubbles that create a silky, smooth texture. Flat whites originated in either Australia or New Zealand, depending on who you ask, and they became popular in specialty coffee shops in the late 1990s. The drink emphasizes texture and the integration of espresso and milk, rather than having distinct layers. Another important drink is the Americano, which is espresso diluted with hot water. An Americano typically consists of 1 or 2 shots of espresso, followed by 6 to 8 ounces of hot water. This creates a drink that's similar in strength to drip coffee, but with the rich flavor of espresso. The Americano has an interesting origin story. It's believed that American soldiers during World War II requested that their espresso be diluted with water, similar to the drip coffee they were used to back home. The name Americano eventually stuck, and today it's a staple in coffee shops worldwide. Let's explore the ristretto, which is the opposite of an Americano. A ristretto is a very concentrated shot of espresso made with the same amount of coffee grounds but less water. Instead of pulling a shot for 20 to 30 seconds, a ristretto is pulled for only 15 to 20 seconds, resulting in about half an ounce of liquid. This creates an incredibly intense, concentrated shot with more crema and a bolder flavor profile. Ristretto means restricted in Italian, perfectly describing how the water is restricted during the brewing process. People who love strong coffee and want a quick caffeine boost often choose ristrettos. Now let's discuss the lungo, another variation on the espresso shot. A lungo is made by pulling an espresso shot for longer than normal, usually 35 to 40 seconds, resulting in about 2 ounces of liquid. This uses the same amount of coffee grounds, but extracts more water through them, creating a larger but less concentrated cup. The lungo falls between a ristretto and an Americano in terms of strength and volume. It's more popular in Europe than in North America, but it's a great option for people who want a longer drink with espresso's flavor, but less intensity than a full shot. Let's talk about the affogato, a deceptively simple but elegant drink. An affogato is simply a shot of hot espresso poured over a scoop of vanilla ice cream or gelato. There's no milk, no foam, no complicated ratios. The espresso melts the ice cream, creating a creamy, sweet beverage that's part coffee and part dessert. Affogatos originated in Italy and are often enjoyed as an after-dinner treat. They're perfect for someone who wants something sweet but still wants the intensity of espresso. The beauty of an affogato is how the temperature contrast and the melting ice cream create a unique texture. The mocha, or cafe mocha, is a drink that blends coffee and chocolate. A mocha typically consists of 1 shot of espresso, steamed milk, and chocolate, usually in the form of chocolate powder, syrup, or melted chocolate. The ratio is similar to a latte, with 1 shot of espresso to 3 or 4 parts steamed milk, plus chocolate. Mochas are believed to have originated in the Middle East, where coffee and chocolate were both traded. The name mocha comes from the Yemeni port city of Mocha, which was famous for exporting coffee. Mochas are popular among people who love both coffee and chocolate and want a drink that combines both flavors. Let's discuss the Vienna coffee, also called the Viennese coffee. A Vienna coffee is made with 2 shots of espresso topped with whipped cream instead of milk foam. It's a rich, indulgent drink that's popular in Austria, Germany, and other Central European countries. The whipped cream adds a luxurious texture and sweetness to the intense espresso shots. Vienna coffee is often enjoyed as a dessert drink or as a treat during afternoon coffee time. Some variations include adding a little bit of chocolate or cinnamon on top of the whipped cream. Now let's explore the red-eye, also called a shot and a drop or a hammerhead. A red-eye is a cup of drip coffee with 1 or more shots of espresso added to it. This creates an extremely caffeinated drink that's perfect for someone who needs a serious energy boost. There's no milk in a traditional red-eye, just coffee and espresso, so it's very strong and intense. The name red-eye comes from the side effect of drinking something this strong, which might keep you awake through the night. While not common in traditional coffee shops, red-eyes have become more popular in specialty coffee culture. Let's talk about the campana, a drink that's simple but often overlooked. A campana is simply a shot or double shot of espresso topped with a dollop of whipped cream. The name means with cream in Italian. It's similar to a Vienna coffee, but with less whipped cream and typically just a single or double shot rather than multiple shots. Campanas are popular in Italy and other parts of Europe, and they offer a nice contrast between the intense espresso and the sweet, light whipped cream. Another drink worth discussing is the lungo campana, which is a lungo shot topped with whipped cream. This combines the longer extraction time of a lungo with the sweetness and texture of whipped cream. It's a drink for someone who wants more volume than a traditional espresso shot, but still wants the richness of the whipped cream topping. The Irish coffee is a drink that blends coffee with alcohol. Irish coffee traditionally consists of strong black coffee, Irish whiskey, brown sugar, and a layer of whipped cream on top. The combination of hot coffee, whiskey, and cream creates a warming, indulgent beverage that's often enjoyed after dinner or in the evening. Irish coffee originated in Ireland in the 1940s and has become popular around the world. It's not a standard espresso-based drink, but it's an important part of coffee culture. Let's discuss the lungo ristretto, which might sound confusing, but is actually a specific brewing technique. A lungo ristretto is an espresso shot that's brewed with slightly longer extraction time than a ristretto, but shorter than a regular espresso, falling somewhere in between. This allows for a balance between concentration and volume, giving you a shot that's still quite strong, but with a bit more liquid than a ristretto. Another variation is the short black, which is simply another name for a single or double shot of espresso, particularly common in Australia and New Zealand. The term emphasizes that it's black coffee with no milk or other additions. The long black is an Australian drink similar to an Americano, but with a key difference in preparation. A long black is made by pouring 1 or 2 shots of espresso into a cup of hot water, creating a different flavor